want to thank y'all for supporting Michael Sean and the Takeover Legend. I honestly just want to say thank you from Little Miguelito and from Michael Sean and the entire Takeover Legend crew. We appreciate you. Without you, this could not happen. And you've taken him through some rough and tough times. Now run them coins, bitches! Run them! Run them! Run them! Run them! It's about to go down. Michael Sean and the Takeover Legend Morning Show is back Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Michael Sean, that's me, Jay Black.
Michael Sean and the Takeover Legend, where the truth hurts, but also makes you laugh.
Baby, tap in.
We the worst records, baby. We about to create a perfectly horrible song. Y'all know I've been in this gym, and now all I wear is tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts. Yes, I do. Michael Sean wears tight shirts every day. I wear tight shirts because I'm working out some. And if I wear the right size, you won't see none of my little cuts in my arms or whatever. Short sleeve tight shirts in any type of weather. People talking trans when they see me in the street.
Your shirt's so tight, we can see your heartbeat.
Man, clown me if you want, I'm sticking to my guns. And when December comes, it's gonna be fun. You can crack jokes and treat me like a jerk, but one day you'll see my six-pack right through my shirt. And even if I wanted to, I just can't stop. I just might rock an Ezekiel crop top.
Whoa.
What? Did I take it too far? What?
Yes.
Whatever. Tight shirts in the morning at work and when I grieve. I even wear tight pajama tops when I sleep. Tight shirt. Always wearing tight shirts. In the wintertime. In the summertime. I'm always wearing tight shirts. You know what it is, bitch? We done made it to another Friday, another Friday, another Friday, another Friday, another Friday, another Friday, another Friday. We done made another week. May is here. It is Cash App Friday. Oh, yes, it is. Y'all know it's time to play your time. Uh-oh, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Or is it... Pay your tithes, pay your tithes. It's time to pay your tithes. You gotta pay your tithes, pay your tithes, pay your tithes. Close the doors, close the door, close the doors. I said close the doors, close the doors. It's Cash App Friday. You gotta pay your tithes. Oh yeah. Y'all see the Cash App $ M showing 0902. It is Friday. Let me get my sexy on.
If you see me and you tryna see what's up, he wanna fuck with me, then I'ma have him stuck.
Oh, yes, it is. I don't know where Jay Black's at. Jay Black will be in a few minutes. Yes. You know the church, anybody can get it. Has to raise funds once a month to pay for this StreamYard. Oh, you know it's true. You know it's true. And some of it goes in my pocket. I ain't going to lie to you. I can't keep doing this and getting up for free. Some of this got to go in my pocket. It's time to pay your time. It's time to pay your time. Some of y'all are already early. Y'all done paid your tithes, and I thank you. Cash App Friday, Cash App Friday, help me pay for the StreamYard monthly bill. Cash App Friday, Cash App Friday, help me pay for the StreamYard bill every month. Hit my account, first of the month. Hit my account, first of the month. Slow it down. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, choir. Bring it down. Come on, band. Slow down, man. Oh, they don't want to stop.
Welcome to the Holy Tabernacle, Grace New Life Community, Fellowship Church on a Hill. This is the church of anybody can get. With your pastor, Michael Sean, and Deacon Jay Black. Now, everyone please take your seats.
Said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. No, band. Hold on, band. Y'all getting a little too much right now. You're getting ahead of yourselves. Calm it down. Bring it down. I know y'all came to play today. I know y'all came to play. I know y'all ready. I saw y'all warming up. I saw y'all warming up. I saw y'all rehearsing.
It's time.
Whoa. We got all types of things jumping off. All right. Let's get it started. Cash App Fridays, where we're not building no handicap ramp. We're not doing no after school program. We're not putting money together for a field trip for the church. Anybody can get it. None of that. This is the pay to StreamYard bill, which will be going up because we have to upgrade. I'm giving y'all straight up. And some of it going in my pocket. And I would like to thank those who have already put their Cash App out. I would like to thank, let me see. I know Nikki White Chocolate got her Cash App in. Afro Queen got her Cash App in. Thank you. Let me see who else. Let me shout y'all out before Jay Black come. LaShawn, I saw you, LaShawn. I saw you. Yes, I did. Shelly, I saw you. Miss Clark, I see you. Ashley Newman, I see you. Lisa, I see you. Oh, all right. We off to a fabulous start so far. We got Dr. Aaron Smith, who will be in the building today. Professor Dr. Aaron Smith talking about everything that goes on in society. That's going to be a wonderful thing. Things get heated. I just let them go. I just let the professor / doc, I let him go. Make it happen, homie. Talk your talk. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Everybody on Facebook, thank you. And now let's get, these comments is popping early. Let's see who was first up to bat on a busy Cash App Friday. Shout out to the New York Knicks who won yesterday. Let's see who was first. Who was first up there? Miss Clark said present. All right. Following rules. If you are in attendance, you say present. Miss Clark hit me with the good morning. Happy Cash App Friday. Nikki White Chocolate said present. There you go, Nikki. We know how you're watching. Miss Parker, what's good? Good morning, Miss Parker. I will send you that information on the show that's going down next Saturday in New York City, Comedy in Harlem. It will pop off. Oh, yeah. Nikki God saying what's up to everybody. I like get y'all on now. Jay Black. You be playing y'all to the left, picking other comments that he want, and the others just be left. Wasn't on tune and wasn't on rhythm. Who cares? Miss Parker saying what's up. Miss Clark. Jeanette was really good there. Jeanette. Also, remember, y'all, if y'all ain't got no money to send me, that's fine. Just be clear. We here for each other. So just understand the jokey jokes and everything. I'm kind of not playing. But if you don't have it, you don't have it. That's just what it is. Good morning, TOL Queens. I think I'm the only guy in here. Oh, yeah. Coco must be asleep. Or did I miss? Or did I play Coco? I have to get my 4 quarters. Hold on. Get them 4 quarters. Oh, legs is present. Assy Newman be kind of regular. I think you be watching. You just don't be commenting. Our little FBI, CIA agent, undercover cop. There we go. Okay, Legs said present now. There you go. Hey, better late than never. Present. Who's present? Good morning, Afro Queen. What's going on? Jeanette. Okay, nice intro. Hey. Yes, it was. Sally said present. I am present. Legs saying what's up to Miss Parker, Jeanette. Get all y'all. Good morning, Miss Bush. Get all y'all. I watched the show yesterday. That was some funny stuff about Jay Black punching the. Oh, that was funny. I watched that yesterday. Oh, that was good stuff. Oh, snap. Yeah, that's what I said. Assy Newman in the building early. We got to get, we getting a field trip together, y'all. We are getting a field trip. I was joking about the money not going, where's the church intro? I got you. Don't sing, play the church. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Morning, beautiful kings and queens. Y'all are all hilarious presents. Yes. Present. LaShawn, thank you, everybody. Miss Parker dancing. I saw you. I got you up. My band ain't no joke. The way I'm screaming, that's right. My band ain't no joke. Don't play with me. Shelly, you know what it is. We here for you, girl. Do not play with me. And that band is ready. I'm telling you, the band already, they still ready to go. They're ready to pop off at any second. LaShawn, good morning, Marvin. I mean, Mike. What? Huh? Yes. Lock them doors. Close the door. They're coming in the window. Good morning. Who I missed? Jeanette said, you play too much. Good morning. Queen Born. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let me get everybody. Trendsetter present. Y'all, eventually, by next Wednesday, everybody be saying present. Good morning to Real Church this Sunday. All are welcome. Friends and family. Hey, Deliverance. Holistic Church. Okay. Are you inviting us to your church? Deliverance. Evangelistic Church. Is that an invite? Oh, I don't know. So where's that church? Oh, yeah. Put the church up. If you want people to come out, put it up there. You know how we get down. People will be there. LaShawn said present. Thank you. Rashida. Ashley said had to pick up some morning shifts the last 3 weeks. Sunset. Oh, them proms. Oh, congratulations, but I know them proms, girl. You had to pick up some morning shifts. I had to pick up extra comedy shows. I had to put hours in it. But yeah, man. And my last go around was with twins, so it was all double. Do you have twins? My twins, it was all double. Senior trip double. Prom double. But congratulations. I know you're gonna be a proud mom. I know you'll be posting some pics on that prom. Is that on Lehigh Avenue? I think it might be. I got it somewhere in my phone because she definitely invited me and Jay Black. Yes, on Advisor 21st and Lehigh Avenue. Okay. All right. What time? Y'all got different show times or is it just one? Near the look, you know Legs used to be a cop. Near the McDonald's. Or is a cop. You know you're a cop when you go near the McDonald's. All she said was 21st and Lehigh. And Legs knew. Near the McDonald's. Down the street from the little spot. From the little poppy spot. Yeah, right there. Oh, all right, yeah. Mike, did you ever come up with a game for us to play? Not yet, but I'm strategizing. I need something simple and to the point, but yet something difficult enough that when the money's in the pot, and whoever wins, we will cash app you the money. I'm not even supposed to say it like that. We will. All right, money. When we talk about this, Pop-Tarts. We will cash app you the pop. We will send you the Pop-Tarts. Service starts at 10:30. Let me tell you something. Like 10 people said, nah, 10:30. 10:30 in the morning. 10:30. If it is, I went to a funeral there. I had an awesome time. Loved it. Okay. I don't know the funeral. I had an awesome time and loved it. Should go in the same sentence, but I get what you're saying, Legs. Legs said, I went to a funeral. I had an awesome time. Loved it. I know one person who didn't love it. Kidding. Simple, be mighty. Trendsetter got you. Okay. Y'all must be talking behind the scenes. Yes, Legs, right across the street from McDonald's and Dobbins High School. Okay. I kind of know where it's at now. Legs ain't need to know. All the Legs need to know is 21st Street and McDonald's. That's all. Legs is a human GPS. That's all she needed. 21st Street and the McDonald's. Bam. We good. Is Jay Black super late. Wait a second. Thank you, Honeycomb. Thank you, Honeycomb. What's the real? Your Cash App names be messed. I'm horrible with names. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you. Who sent me what? I'll get there. Let me text Jay Black. I don't know. It's a Cash App Friday. Jay got to be up in here. What's Jay Black? Wake up. Wake up. It's Cash App Friday. Like he give a fuck. What Legs say? Legs said, no, I mean the service. Well, Legs, you gotta clarify that, girl. You can't come up to me, come up to us being like, I went to a funeral, had an awesome time, loved it. I should say you can get there by 11:30, but you don't want to miss the singing and the worship. That's where the miracles happen. Oh, okay. So you can creep on in there. You probably should have told us 11:30 because now Cat's gonna be walking. Well, she said 11:30, 12 o'clock should be good. Need a good hotel in New York to book my room. Ooh, them hotels in New York. Let me tell you something. Oh, it's Asha. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, boo. Thanks. Thank you, boo. Let me tell you something, trendsetter. You want a hotel in New York? Let me tell you something. You're going to spend for a tiny room. I don't care how fancy they make it. Inside, there's going to be some cute stuff. It's going to cost you. I don't even know of any big hotel rooms anymore in New York City. But I'll try and reach out and see which ones. And I don't know what your budget is. You know, there's one by the Apollo now that a lot of people stay in. I think it's called the Renaissance. It might be. I think that's what it's called, by the Apollo. I don't know if you want to be more by Times Square, stuff like that. There are a gang of them. Right after that, I brought my kids and my niece. We were the only white people there, and I felt so awkward that I left. They were mad we left. You can't leave. You can't leave the church just because you was the only white folks. Go back, Legs. Well, you need to do over, Legs. You need to do it. You can't. You left the church because you were the only white. Wow. Did you know anybody there? Trina, you literally stay in Manhattan. I think Ms. Parker. I think he's gonna stay in Manhattan, and you already know you're gonna get an efficiency. They're gonna make it look nice, but them prices are outrageous. Just letting you know right now. I don't know where Jay Black. Where? Yeah, 722. All right, so let me see when Dr. Aaron Smith is gonna get up in here. I did send him. I did send him that. I make sure. Let me make sure. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna get right back into the flow of the show. Give me a second. Did you get the link? Because what I don't want to do is be Bobby Brown when he took over the world and left New Edition. Not today on Cash App Fridays. We can't do that on Cash App Fridays. No, we can't. I'm going back. No, I didn't know anybody. Oh, damn. Legs was like, whoo, this might not be for me. Miss Parker, trendsetter, tell Miss Parker when you're coming out there. Miss Parker probably knows. I know some people who know a lot of hotel situations. It's just crazy expensive in New York City to stay in them little things. Like I used to feel bad for promoters because I used to tell promoters, don't spend no money on a hotel room. Just give me the money. Just give me the money. My cousin lives over the Holland Tunnel. I can stay with her. Just give me the money. Jay Black has entered the building. He's somewhere. He's going to come up here.
You.
What up, late guy? What happened?
You. I'm here. Present.
Yeah. You're present. Yeah, everybody, you can handle that. Just in case you forgot, Jay Black, we are here. It's Cash App Friday. Everybody paying their tithes. Listen, Jay Black,
I said close them doors.
It's your job.
Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors.
Close the door, Jay Black. That's your job right there. Cash App Fridays. For those who just joined us, you know what we're doing? Paying that StreamYard bill and some of it going in my pocket. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. How was your night last night, Jay? Because you were a little late.
Rough night. Yeah, it was a rough night. Yeah, I was up 3 a.m. I was up. One of them. I gotta get this anxiety stuff down packed, man. I know I've been sharing a lot lately. Wow, but yeah, I got anxiety. Sometimes overnight I just have anxiety. You know? Then I'm up and I can't go back to sleep. That's all. So I'm watching
You ever
TV.
just thought about going to talk to somebody about it so they can give you exercises?
No, ain't
That's
nothing
what helped
wrong
me.
with me. I'm just,
Jay,
don't know.
it has nothing to do with something being wrong with you.
know.
It has nothing to do with that. But they gave me
Yeah, that was
that's why I'm on the routine I'm on. Because it was my job. That was my thing, trying to work through it. So I'm just there. It was just an option. That's why I do my gratitude list in the morning time. And I got a whole journal that I got to write in all the stuff that stresses me out, all the stuff that gave me anxiety. I kind of am able to, with simple techniques, work through them now. And not saying I don't get them.
Sounding like an adult. Look at you.
Nah, but
I think my little staycation, man, Lady Q, a little staycation. I think that's what I need. You know, everyone need a date night, need a staycation. So we're gonna hang out this weekend. So I think that'll help. That's what I need. Sometimes we overwork. We need mental health days too. I like that.
I mean, this show's all about me, but let me just get to you real quick. This show's all. I learned that. Shout out to Jones. This show's all about me and the Cash App. So send that money, run them coins. But my thing is, when you do the staycations which are good mental health things. The problem is the dealing with the day to day, because the day to day is still there after staycations. So you might need to give yourself 45 to an hour, maybe hour 15 minutes a week that you go talk to somebody for a while, just to give you the techniques and break down, to put in perspective what the anxiety is being triggered by and what behavior that you use when these triggers happen. Because normally your behavior, your response is the dictator of how this is gonna have to play out. And if you respond the same way, you're gonna play out. Listen, I'm not
Dr. Mike. No, you're making sense.
I ain't make this up. This is what I was told. Your response is what we have to work on. Your response to the trigger is what we have to work on. And it's not a physical response to somebody. It's the response that you have in your mind. How you take it, how you work it, and then what that leads to. Leads to lack of sleep, leads to feeling like the walls are closing in. I was thinking of some crazy shit, but I mixed the alcohol in there too, so that was a little.
Yeah, that's your problem. You can't
no, but the alcohol was just that was a response. That was a response to it. And magnesium and vitamin D.
I'm gonna start listening at some point.
And Kate, yeah, because you're the only one who's got. You're the only one who's got to pick up the load and then pause, pick up the load and then keep going in the morning time. And commit to a better sleep
routine.
The sleep routine is everything.
I be asleep by darn near 11 o'clock news, I feel like. But yeah, it's all good.
Sometimes, and I had to stop doing. This is a sidebar. I had to stop leaving that TV on with Law and Order on it.
Don't do that.
Just not good. But anyway, everything else, we're gonna work through it. Honestly, you should really think about talking to somebody. And find somebody that you're comfortable with. But don't be judgmental. Find somebody you're comfortable with. If they challenge you, don't make that be the thing that.
Well, I like to speak my mind, so it's not like a challenge.
Oh, you're going to speak your mind. You're going to speak to the point where you're going to start thinking, when is this person going to say something? That's how much speaking you're going to do. And don't get distracted if they do their version. They might take notes in front of you. They might just record. Look at Mike doing the therapy I met.
Look, we got the investment with Kamari yesterday. We got our investment going in some stocks, and now today we got therapy with Mike, and we got the great doctor, professor, all them degrees he have coming up right now too. Dr. Aaron Smith here with us. So
I don't know, like I don't understand. Let me before we bring him in, because I got some stuff I want him to watch these clips and get into. He's got something coming up Sunday that I'm going to try to attend, but before I promote it, I want to make sure that he wants to promote it. People don't understand how dope a rapper MC Dr. Aaron Smith,
the rapping professor,
and people just don't understand how much. There was a behind the beats. Let me explain to you a behind the beats. A behind the beats is when an artist would come into town. The radio station would do a full interview, no music, play a full interview, and then they would air it on the air. He did a full interview. They were doing a full interview with Kanye West, and I would love to have that clip because I know he might have it. Where Fearless, that's what we called him, got on the mic and spit some bars for Kanye, and took Kanye way back. Like Kanye was taken aback. And I listen, God works the way God works. Because I think Fearless, if we would have pushed it because he actually had a conversation with Kanye at the show that night.
Mhm.
But when I tell you he spit a dope ass verse, I wonder if he remembers that verse. The verse was
Yeah,
so
let's bring him
crazy.
in and ask him.
All right, Dr. Aaron Smith. I know him as Aaron Smith now, but I knew him as Fearless, who rocked out on the Takeover Legends show. What up? What up?
Good
Yeah.
morning.
I was
What up?
trying to clip in the chat. I wasn't able to drag it in. Just let me know how I can send it.
Oh, send it.
Oh, you got you can
got
send
the
it in the chat. You can send it.
It wouldn't let me drop it. I tried to drag it. And
Can you
drop
put it in a private chat? You can put it in a private chat here, or you
Yeah.
can just text it to me. Either one.
Let me see. I'll just email it to you. How about that?
And can your camera come down a little bit or no?
Yeah, I'm
There
trying
you
to.
go.
get all
Okay,
that
okay.
You might
Hold
want-
up.
you
Should I
might
close that glare? Am I looking like Harvey
No,
Dent?
you look deep. You look like you look good. It look like an
something.
album cover. It look like an album cover right now. Old school album cover. It look like
Thriller, right? With Michael Slade with the white blazer on.
yeah. It look like you about to shed light on us as the light comes into the room and reflects and all that good stuff. All right, so
Just send me
we
the
got a
email.
lot.
Yeah.
All right, I have to get used to Dr. Smith. I'm so used to saying fear. Yes, Dr. Smith. I had to
Oh,
get.
You got all-
We say
all
Fearless
them
too.
different-
I know when people know me from what they say. You know, sometimes people be like Smitty. I'm like, oh, that's Temple.
Oh,
Right
Smitty
Yes,
days. Yep.
Smitty days.
You know, so I can tell when people they say Aaron. I'd be like, oh, they must know me from grade school or high school and stuff. Because nobody called me that in about 30-something years.
Every time he was around, when I'd be around him in certain, it was like a few situations where there would be people from college. They would call him Smitty. I had the same reaction I had when they first called Jay Black Spanky. I was like, yo, who is Smitty? Like who?
Yeah,
Smitty don't sound like Smitty don't seem to fit Fearless for me. Aaron does. Dr. Aaron, maybe because I know those aspects of him. I know the hip hop version of him, and then I know the intellectual version of him. I never knew the Smitty version of him. I never walked in the yard with him. I never walked on the yard with him. I was never in them frat streets. I was never in them frat streets. All right, so I got one bar that from Damon Wayans that hit me. It may not hit y'all. Parents, I got one bar. Then I have A Lies Detected, where we have the onslaught of viral clips where women say this is what they want. They want this. They need this. This is the checklist. You don't take me to this dinner. You don't take me here to eat food. You don't do this. You have to make a certain amount of money in order to be in my company. Well, a guy challenged that on a podcast, and we know the lady that was sitting next to him is actually Jay Lachey. And I saw this clip, and it was going against what women say when they do that. And he had an interesting point. Let me get to this. He had an interesting point that the same thing women are preaching, are they teaching their sons the same thing that they're preaching when they want to get a man? So here's the clip. Y'all check it out. It's a Lies Detected, I guess. Yeah. Hey, we'll play the Lies Detected intro. Why not? Why not keep it official? Stay uniform.
It's time for action. Yeah.
Thanks you for joining the Takeover Legends. It's time for No Lies Detected.
Right here. It's time for action.
Shit, right? I got snapped briefly. This how you know women know it's bullshit? Because they don't teach their sons that you don't take a bitch to fucking Cheesecake Factory. You take her to State 48 on the first date. They don't tell their sons, you know what you should do? You need to buy her bags, get her hair done, and get her nails done, and spend your whole
just give her all your money. You spend all your money on her.
Mothers never tell their sons this hypothetical bullshit that they so-called preaching to the world. So that's how you know it's bullshit. You're not going to let a little dirty ass girl from around the way
be dirty,
use your fucking son for his money. There's hard working money. If your son, that's from high school.
Let's say your son work at Chick-fil-A. Your son work at Chick-fil-A. Matter of fact, the piggyback on that, your son work at Chick-fil-A. He get a little check. He come home. Now he don't got no money. And he say, Mom, oh no, I gave my girlfriend all my money.
She had to get I got Tadisha hair and nails done.
I got her nails done.
You gonna slap the shit out of him.
You gonna call him a fucking dickhead.
Exactly.
Don't let no little fucking dirty girl use you. So this is where I'm like.
Is that how you would feel, Jayla J?
Yeah, well, that's unacceptable.
Moms will be ready to fight.
Unacceptable. So I want the ladies in here. Facts, no lies detected. If y'all on these apps, and I'm not saying a lot of the women on here aren't really on those apps like that, saying things like, I don't know. What up, Stacy? Run them pockets. Are you teaching the same storyline to your sons? I said, I just had this convo. You won't let a girl take your son for all his money, but want someone else's son to give you all of his. Listen, I don't know. I'm asking the moms out there, are there any lies detected? I would not let a dusty ass heifer, y'all are really these adjectives, boy, use my imaginary son. No lies detected. LaShawn. Show it again. All right, girl. All right. Say this one, boy, let me tell you something. When we got like 10,000 people watching, I'm not gonna just be able to play it on demand, but I got y'all.
Bullshit, right? I got snapped briefly. This how you know women know it's bullshit? Because they don't teach their sons that you don't take a bitch to fucking Cheesecake Factory. You take her to State 48 on the first date. They don't tell their sons, you know what you should do? You need to buy her bags, get her hair done, and get her nails done, and spend your whole.
Just give her all your money. You spend all your money on her.
Mothers never tell their sons this hypothetical bullshit that they so-called preaching to the world. So that's how you know it's bullshit. You're not going to let a little dirty ass girl from around the way
gotta be dirty,
use your fucking son for his money. There's hard working money. If your son, that's from high school.
Let's say your son work at Chick-fil-A. Your son work at Chick-fil-A. Matter of fact, the piggyback on that, your son work at Chick-fil-A, he get a little check. He come home, now he don't got no money. And he say, Mom, oh no, I gave my girlfriend all my money.
She had to get I got Tadisha hair and nails done.
I got her nails done.
You gonna slap the shit out of him.
You gonna call him a fucking dickhead.
Exactly.
Don't let no little fucking dirty girl use you. So this is where I'm like.
Is that how you would feel, Jayla J?
Yeah, I would. That's unacceptable.
All right. Let the comments go. Jay Black, what are you teaching you got a son that's growing up now. How's he supposed to treat his first love interest that becomes his first girlfriend that comes to meet you and Lady Q and they going out to a little Chick-fil-A just because they said Chick-fil-A, or they going to get some coffee or whatever. I don't know if he drinks coffee. I'm teaching my son to be a gentleman, not a sucker. Well, Lady Q answered that quick. We can't hear you. We can't. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I said there it is. She jumped right in for us. Bam. To be a gentleman, not no sucker. Don't get taken advantage of. You want the real deal anyway. You want somebody that's going to be authentic, and that's your forever chick, right? So let's explore it, because forever we ain't going to be going to State 48 forever. That ain't what we're going to be doing every weekend. I see Dr. Smith shaking his head.
Nikki White Chocolate. But Jay, you gotta remember, we did spend. I mean, I did spend a lot of money on hoes. I didn't want to bring you into my world.
You had some hey, once in a while we did have a little,
I mean,
they didn't want snacks that night. They didn't want snacks. They want.
I couldn't just throw bags of snacks.
I think the difference is that you were aware, though. You knew what it was.
Facts.
Right. I think that's the defining line. If you want something, it ain't tricking if you got it and you try to turn up. And that's a different vibe than somebody who's really trying to build with a young lady and impress her. And she knows darn well she got no intentions with this dude except for to get this grub and to be out. Like, some of these events are anniversary events. Some of these locations are anniversary occasions. We've been together for 5 months or 6 months or a year. Yeah, that's State 48. Let us get 48 days at least. Come on, man, before we start turning up with the $300 bill.
So I'm just waiting for one of the ladies to come up here and tell me that's what you're preaching to your son. Because I know some ladies gonna be like, well, can we break down the fact that what y'all preach to your daughters, you don't preach to your sons? Y'all the same hypocrites who be preach certain stuff.
All 4 boys. She got
Ashley
4
with
boys.
all 4. She got the squad. All 4 were taught that they are the prize.
Oh, okay.
Respect women. Respect women and you'll live and learn. DMX said it best. What these really, yeah.
Keisha, Lisa, okay.
Lisa, Tasha, I don't even know the name. I know, right? Well, that's why I felt that you guys were going to the Trendsetter, dead ass. Trendsetter getting ready to go to New York. You can tell he already trying to get his New York lingo together. At least 48 days. 48 days.
You go to State 48.
I do. Taking a walk. Like, is that not a thing no more? Like, what? I think honestly in high school, my first interaction with the lady I went to the prom with, I walked her home. We took a walk in the park. We might have stopped at the store. We sat on her porch, like regular stuff. Like nowadays, like you can talk to somebody online, and before you say hello, they'll be like, "My private story, cash at me," and I just said hello. Like,
so that's what you did on your prom? That was
the lady I went to the prom with. Like when I first met her, like they were like it's Valentine's Day, and you could buy the little balloons and stuff in school. So that was my first time, like showing her that I was interested. I bought her one of the balloons, and then it turned out somebody else bought her a balloon too. So I saw her in the hallway with 2 balloons, and the first thing I said was 2. And she started laughing. Biggie game begins, right? When she grins. So we walk in the hallway. I'm like, I'll hold that other one for you if you want. So whatever, right? Somebody else bought a balloon, but obviously it didn't work out. I went to the prom. But I walked her home like the next day because I got her phone number. We took a walk in the park. I would like walk to go see her. I met her mom. Like that was like before a date. In terms of like just trusting a young lady with a man at night by herself, that seems the respectful things to do. Now people are so interested in the money, they can potentially compromise the safety of the young lady. If you don't know this dude, you shouldn't be in his car. You shouldn't be out at night with him. Like, let's be clear. Like a lot of this whole, a lot of these assaults are from people that know people. So until you really get to know them, not that can fully prevent anything, because things are always still going to happen. You always still got to be cautious. But if I just met you and we never spent more than a half hour together, we probably shouldn't be alone together.
Ooh, all right.
We need a group date or something. Let's let the crews hang out. Let's all go to the movie together, all 5 or 6 of us, and just let's just build and get some vibes going.
I have to give Stacy, my co-parenting partner, credit. And I like pointing out the positives in that over a 20-year relationship. When Monty went on her first date to the movies, she had to go to the movies with the family. The date was Monty, the young man, Stacy, and the twins, and they all went to the movies together. There was a lot.
That's a lot going on.
I like that. You want to be here or not?
Yeah, you want to be here?
You interested or not?
Yeah.
Package deal.
Yeah.
We are here.
I think it was like they went to like 2 movies. They went to 2 movies, and I was in Dallas, and Stacy gave me the report. And she was like, "No, he's nice." I said, "Yeah, they're always nice, but they always, did you peep anything?" I was nice too. I was super nice. I was incredibly nice when I met your parents. TB said it's crazy because many men complain about women wanting them just for their money, but that's what they impress and lead with. Well, we're talking about younger, but okay. Just like many women with their bodies, they lead with that and then complain. Yeah, it's a treacherous. It's a treacherous situation.
You see that comment earlier?
Yes, LaShawn. Chick stopped seeing my son because he couldn't afford Topgolf. Well, she would have stopped seeing me too. Have you ever taken people to Topgolf?
What's the bill like?
What? I took the whole family to Top. Let me tell you the pressure of being a dad. When you take a whole family somewhere and you see the prices, and then you calculate in your head, and the whole time you golfing, you trying to figure out, oh yeah, the mortgage is due on this day, and you're organizing the bills as you golfing. And my kids are like, "Dad, you stink, you suck." Yeah, I suck because I'm trying to figure out our budget as I'm hitting these golf balls.
You playing under duress. You stressed out.
So can we do another round?
Yeah, this was great. Can we do another round? The waitress come back with y'all want some can we get some chicken tenders? Some Coca-Colas. The whole time my ulcer's acting up. My son's cheap. So he ain't got that problem. And I tell him to do what he wants, but always pay your way. Go with your heart. Yeah, watch that. Go with the heart. Watch that. Go. I don't know. Sometimes go with your brain on this one. OMG. Not stop dealing with him because he couldn't afford. Top golf is serious.
Wow.
I won't let the Mr. take me to Top Golf because the prices give me anxiety. Gee, see, what's the point?
That's when you know somebody likes you, because they really care about you. They care about your finances and everything, and they be stressed out with you.
She's like, "Nah, we ain't spending that."
And that's why
right. We for real, our money.
And that's why they VIP at the miniature golf spot, the putt-putt. Because why can't we just do putt-putt? At least the putt-putt is like, we actually have a skill set. We can compete. Dear Smith, Dr. Smith, I agree. Anniversary outings. My question is, are these same men willing to wait 48 365 days for intimacy. Look at my boo.
Oh,
A lot of times the money is value, but is the girl/woman's body equally valued?
No, great point. And honestly, me and my wife, we waited. We waited. And you want to talk about like building character and introspection and really getting to know people. When you at that point when normally you would just jump on a person or just jump into bed or just like when you get to that point and you don't do that and you got to like figure out what comes next. Like, oh, now we just have to have a conversation. Now we got to be creative. Now we started playing board games and things I never did with girls before. It's like, okay, now I'm really building a friendship and building trust. And the person is respecting me because they know that I'm subduing my passion simply for the fact that I want them to be more connected with me and respect me and get to know me. So even when you finally do have those kind of intimate, moments, it is more meaningful. I hate to say it in hindsight because I didn't do it till like my middle age. But like I said, what we're teaching our sons and daughters, I would tell the truth. I'd be like, yo, just because I didn't doesn't mean it wasn't right. Looking back, I wish I had done a lot more waiting, and I missed out on getting to know a lot of females who had great sense of humor, who was brilliant, was supportive and loyal. I missed those girls looking at big butts on the Sir Mix-a-Lot tip and trying to chase somebody who was leading with their body. So we all suffering based on not doing it, decent and in order. But I agree, you got a great point. If it's gonna be the money, it also should be the honey. We should wait.
Jay, what was Jay had a strange look when you said you waited. He had a look. He before you say something, let me tell you. Let me tell you, Dr. Smith, let me tell you, I keep my comments the same way my comments always going to be, right? Even when you're on here. But I noticed that Jay Black is intimidated by your intellect.
No, stop playing.
No, and he don't want to say the ignorant shit that he would normally say directly to me. When your square is not here. So go ahead, be a man. Be a man.
No, because he a friend, and I'm like, he said, how he waited, and it's 48 days and all they waited into the scene. But y'all ain't married no more. It didn't work, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's not foolproof. It don't mean that nothing gonna last. It just means you timed it right. But one thing I would say to what Mike was talking about, I wish I had went on a date with the family first. I wish I had known. I might tonight. No, popcorn's on me. Everybody, just enjoy. Nice to meet the whole family. It's good to know what the whole package was hitting for. And I'll call you. Don't call me. Don't call me.
Listen, that's an excellent point. No, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point.
I called Uber. I called Uber for everybody. I got.
That's sad, but he will find better. But I love the point you made about the holding out. See, this is why y'all think I'm just joking when I say how poorly I was misled into what sex means.
Me too. Yeah.
And how poorly I was influenced to be somebody who was just conquering just for orgasms and just to move on to the next and see if there's any way I can have a better orgasm or this would be better. That same action would be better with this person. And what the most overrated thing, if you're looking to be in a relationship, I don't even know why I wasted so much time and energy to do it now. But obviously I'm 54, so I get it. So I have a cheat sheet now. I realize how I felt 300 times afterwards and how ridiculous it was. And now what you said is so ironic on how interesting a lot of the people I dealt with really were and how my actions destroyed those situations because of me being based on simply what was happening physically. I could have still been friends with these wonderful, wonderful people. And I totally understand why they don't talk to me. And it's just, it's a mess when it comes to that. Listen, I'm not going to get into the whole how we're raised and the things that are put in our face. And listen, you want an easy kryptonite for a man, just feed into his sexual desires. And that will blind a lot of stuff. That will make you not, and I say it and I say it now. The greatest sex that I can have, that I can have, is when the sex is over. I don't want to be anywhere else except that place. I don't care if it was 10 minutes, 30 minutes. If I literally know I don't want to be anywhere else, I don't want to make a call. I wouldn't rather be out in the streets. I wouldn't want to be anywhere. If that happened, we just had some incredible sex, y'all. Me and that person just did. Let me get to this one, and then we're gonna get into the Stupid Dummy of the Week and get Dr. Aaron Smith's thoughts on what happened. It's been a busy week, but these first 100 days in Trump's administration has been probably the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Let me get Asha's comment real quick. It's never better without the intimacy. It's never better without the intimacy of the relationship. It's just sex. I never allowed my body to be a man's dumping ground. Ooh,
I'm gonna use that one.
Damn.
I got a daughter.
Damn, boo. Wasn't raised that way, and also my choice. No judgment to anyone else. I never allowed my body to be a man's dumping ground. Jeez, Louis.
That need to be a T-shirt.
That's a wow. Wow.
T-shirt.
So Damon Wayans, and y'all gonna laugh because y'all keep thinking I'm hating on Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama had Marlon and Damon. I'm not. I'm just pointing out opinions like I would critique anything else. Damon said, he said, and listen, man, I might tear up on this. He made a comment about parenting and about being a grandparent and what being a grandparent meant to him.
Okay. And
it just struck a chord with me. And maybe I'm overhyping it, and maybe you guys won't feel it the same way. But when he said this, right here, it's coming.
And grandchildren teach you how you should have loved your kids.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's deep.
Yes.
Oh,
that's powerful there.
I'm not going to top that. So,
yeah, really. I'm like,
in my opinion,
it's like
bacon ain't pork.
It should not count. It should just be its own separate category. We should never have to give it up.
I need y'all to hear that.
In my opinion, grandchildren teach you how you should have loved your kids.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's deep.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
powerful there. I'm not going to top.
Put Lady Q's comment back. I instantly had tears in my eyes when he said, man, Lady Q, I'm so thankful that I wasn't the only one.
That's powerful.
That shit hit me like a ton of bricks.
You get a second chance though, right? That's a good thing.
You get a second chance. And when I tell you the work that I've put in building my relationship back up with my daughters, and I thank God every day that I was at least able to build back this relationships. But when he said that, I said, that explains a whole lot.
Even with your own parents and everything. Yeah.
That explains a whole lot. Because I know the old cliche is this doesn't come with a manual. It's not a cliche. It's not a cliche. This is an actual fact. Nobody told you before for me, nobody sat me down and said, you do realize that from the minute this baby comes out, you are molding an actual person. And everything you do around this person is permanent. Every action, every word, every example is something that they're either going to take in a positive way or they're going to take in a negative way that they may have to actually have somebody help them debunk the nonsense that you did. That shit hit me. Lady Q said, I get it on that level, but I also loving my G baby like I wanted to be loved by my grandmother, grandma, and wasn't. Lady Q, it's so many dimensions to it.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Smith said, it makes you understand your parents. So it is such a beautiful experience to be a parent, but it's also such an unfair thing in this sense, meaning that you really don't know. You really don't know. You've been trained to do this. You've been trained to act like this. You've been taught to act like this. You were raised like this. Then you come to find out 15 years into the game that what you were taught and what you learned was not the book you should have been following.
Some deadbeats are sometimes great grandparents.
I'm glad that's said. That needs to be said because a lot of people think that, once somebody falls, that they always going to be a deadbeat. And that's important to note that just because somebody wasn't showing up for you doesn't mean that they will never show up. So I appreciate that, just being put out there.
I love my baby girl. She is really my husband's grandbaby. Wow. It's not a good thing when the damage was already done to the child. It's not a good thing when the damage is already done to the child. Absolutely. It's never a good thing.
But for the grandparents, is it because you're giving the kid back? Like you could do all that. I'm like, oh, here you go.
That's part of it too. That makes it a little easier to get it right.
In my opinion,
It's like
it's an ideal situation,
I could be this superstar, but I know at any point I could be like, all right.
Start rolling up the weed or something. Y'all take care, Grandpa. Go see. Turn on that loop. Remember back in the day, evolution.
That is so hilarious. But this is why the uniqueness of my situation. It was the opposite with me and my mom. I had to drag my kid from my mom, and thank God that she was that relentless because of all the shit that I was gonna go through. Yes, Jay Black Lord.
That's the reason Stacey bitches said. Hey, I just gotta be honest. I'm glad y'all agree with me. That's good.
Yeah, I'm glad that was not my mom. My mom was trying to keep every kid. Yes, especially my oldest. You're a victim of your environment and how you're raised, and it's so unfair because you don't even realize it until you realize it. You don't even get the way you talk to your kids, and the way you were talked to wasn't the way you should talk to your kids. You don't even get it till you get it and you realize, wait, that shit was wrong the entire time. My advice was wrong. My expectations were wrong. My judgment was wrong. What was the comment before that? I'll never find out about the deadbeat part because I cuss my donor out every time he says he wants to meet his grandkids. He ain't got none of those over here.
So she like,
hey, that's all.
Well, now we all got traumas, and it's not cut and dry, to be like, oh, just give everybody a chance, because sometimes, we got our own traumas we got to work through just to do what's best for the child, the same way that the deadbeat, so-called had to work, needs to work through his stuff to change. Sometimes those people affect, sometimes people that we impact when we are acting up, they need time too. They need healing too. Just because you got yourself together don't mean all the people you affected are ready for it. So, it's a give and take.
Those are facts. That's why when that Anthony Edwards story came out and everybody was so caught up on the alleged story that Anthony Edwards just was going to pay the baby mom for 18 years, but wasn't going to have anything to do with the child. And he told her, I'm not going to have anything to do with the child. I felt bad because I was sitting there going, Anthony Edwards don't understand 18 years from now. He's going to have to explain that to her. He don't know what that explanation. He don't know what it's gonna feel like when you're no longer the superstar basketball player and an 18-year-old comes to your ass and says, "What did I do to you? What did I do to you?
Why didn't you want me?
Yeah, why don't he want me, man?
Why don't he want me?
That's it. And like you said, Mike, when that young lady is with child and he's retired, wanting to be a grandfather, and he's gonna be like, I got my life together, just like the sister was saying. They might be like, nah, we cool on you. And it might take some real time and some real work and a lot of forgiveness, to prioritize the child. That's what needs to happen, but it ain't always as easy as, just saying it and seeing that people have changed. Sometimes people gotta really start healing before they can really do what's best for the child.
Like I always heard it in the background, being a parent is the most important job, but it wasn't in the front. Like I never got to talk. I got to talk about not getting somebody pregnant. I got to talk about not going to jail.
Yeah.
I got to talk about having to work harder than everybody else. I never got to sit down talk with all seriousness saying the responsibility that you have right now, not financially, the responsibility you have, and this is when you're gonna know I'm no therapist. The responsibility you have is not to fuck that kid's head up. And not to put your bullshit trauma on that kid.
You break them cycles.
To break this cycle in you, because this young 2-month-old don't deserve to have to break through that type of trauma simply because you did. But no, you don't. Nobody gives you that talk. That's the God's honest truth. As a single mom of 3, I definitely had major flaws raising my kids. Thankfully, they turned out to be great. Absolutely.
That's another part, though. Like, even as parents, when we are doing our best or, doing things right, a lot of parents have difficulty forgiving themselves just because, we're not perfect and things happen and there's places we fall short. So I know a lot of parents whose children are functioning and achieving, but sometimes they haven't forgiven themselves, for times where they don't feel like they could have been better. But that's important as well, just, to understand that parenting is an imperfect process and we do need to forgive ourselves, We need to heal. We need to do better. But there's some moments where it's like, yo, we're all just learning, and especially with the first child, sometimes
What are your thoughts on if the kid don't want to accept you, but should that parent keep pressing the issue consistently, and the kid say, "Nah, I'm good, chill on that"?
Well, that's funny because I heard Corey Holcomb talking about the mom poisoning the kid's mind against him to the point where he just had to fall back and say, I'm going to try to do what I can when the kids reach the age of maturity where I can establish my own independent relationship with the children. If I hadn't been going through a child support thing in my life, I'd have been like, oh, you can't do that. That makes no sense. That's so wrong. Then I remember 50 Cent was saying something similar when they were like, why don't you talk to your son? That's your son. You know, you and your son ain't talking. And one day he broke it down. He's like, yo, I tried to put this guy in business. You know, the mom, they stole the money. They don't want to talk to me. They don't. And it was like, okay, at some point, just as a human being, and you know that there's a entity in between you and a positive relationship with your child, I've seen that a lot of men do not give up on their children. They give up on trying to co-parent with somebody who's toxic and resistant to prioritizing the child. And more times than not, all these so-called deadbeats, a lot of them just don't get along with the mom, and they can't get together to the point where they can prioritize the child's well-being and development over their petty differences. That's what's going on more than people just saying, I never want to see my kid. I'm out of here. Like most guys I talk to, they would play a more significant role if the relationship with the mom was prioritizing the child. But a lot of mom and dads don't want to hear.
Mike always say he don't give a damn. You supposed to keep calling every weekend. If he say don't want to talk to you, still call. That's what Mike.
But this is the thing. It's the thing. I could talk even in current experiences. Yep. When somebody's when somebody's weaponizing everything, it becomes so difficult. When you've already been through screenshots popping up in court where you're having regular conversations and they're being twisted into like, oh, you're harassing. So I know that if I call and they don't pick up, I know I can't call again for a few hours. Because if they see 3 missed calls right in court, look, he's harassing the children, he's stalking them, he called back to back. Like once you get in that mode, like it's like dealing with a Karen. Once you're in a situation where you know somebody's going to use everything, like everything you say can and will be used against you. Once that's the dynamic in a family, it becomes so toxic. And even my brother told me one day I was frustrated. I said, I'm going to the house. My brother said, do not go to that house.
That was my worst mistake.
Yeah, so what do you mean? He started chuckling. He said, man, I talk to lawyers all the time. And when the women's in a bad legal position, the lawyer will tell them, you got to get him arrested. I said, a lawyer would say that to somebody? He started laughing. He said, I'm going to talk to you. When he came down to Philly, he was like, this is ugly. He said, these separations and these divorces and these custody battles, he said, you got to understand what you're a part of. You're coming in there playing nice and thinking logically. And you're thinking, of course I would go to the house. My child is there. I want to go solve a problem. They thinking, stand your ground. They have the right to call the police on you. They can gaslight you. They can talk from behind the window with their middle fingers up. And if you touch that window and gosh forbid you break it, it's all a setup. And I started talking to more and more people who went to the house, like Mike said, and that's when it all went left because you can't win in court and you can't win going to the house, especially if you ain't living there. Don't bang on no door. Don't break no window. Don't punch no wall. Don't make no commotion that the neighbors could testify to hearing. Don't be on no Ring camera talking about what the hell's wrong with you. All of that make Shannon Sharp. You heard it. I'll choke you when I see you. Everybody knows that sounds like some old kinky setup sex stuff that they've been talking like for years. But when you hear it in that snippet and she says, that's not a good look. Meanwhile, she recording the whole conversation. Big black man chokes a white woman. That's not a good look. So why'd you still visit with him if he was talking about choking you? If you really thought that it was, he was going to come and be violent, wouldn't you hang up and call the police? If you thought a big black man who was a Hall of Fame NFL was about to choke you as a 130-pound white woman, like the whole game where it's like, I can set you up, gaslight you, edit the video, edit the call. Jonathan Majors, I could run 3 blocks away from this white woman and still lose everything. So I feel like in my heart, I'm like, yo, I need to go over there. I need to wait outside of school, see my kids. I popped up at church one time after I left church. I was all prayed up. I said, well, at least at church, they won't try to shoot me or lock me up. When I tell you, they looked at me and said, why are you popping up here? I said, I haven't seen my kids in 3-4 months. This is the only place I knew they was going to be. You can't just be popping up. Man, I drove home like, okay, I get it. Like, if I can't leave church and come, and y'all just left church, so this is the nicest y'all gonna be leaving church. Mm-hmm. If you this mad leaving church, I have no chance of popping up no ice cream shop or no house. Like, I really gotta wait for the hearing date and just make my best case. And roll the dice, hope for the best at this point.
So, Doc, So Jay want to play that? No, Mike believed.
Well,
that,
Mike said.
He threw it on you.
So let me get this straight. What Mike believed and what Mike did actually built my relationship back with my 3 daughters.
It could work.
So Mike won.
Well, and I do want my kids.
This ain't no subjective. This ain't
kids to
no
know.
could have been. Would have. And I'll tell you. I'll tell you another thing. The relationship, because we're gonna do because Mike did. Jay can't understand, and lawyers can't understand the relationship with my co-parenter that we literally have not been together for close to 4 years and still share the same bank account with no beef. You know what Jay's answer is? Well, how you know she ain't spending money on another dude? Dude,
write a book about that one. I like that.
Do you understand? Do you understand the strife and strain that I've not had to go through?
I'm not paying for another man.
That I have had. That she has never asked me, have I spent 1 cent at that account on somebody else? And I've never asked her if she spent 1 cent of that money on somebody.
You go get that receipt. He gonna be like, Top Golf.
Top Golf.
Yeah, Top Golf.
Top Golf. Who
Valentine's Day. What's she buying for Valentine's Day?
Top Golf, February 14th.
Out of my account. Wait a minute now.
But this is out of our account. This is out of our account. And I've never asked her. She's never asked me. The lawyer is stunned. The lawyer's like, this works? The lawyer said, when I'm filing for the bankruptcy situation, the lawyer was like, I've worked with thousands of people. I've never had 2 people. And the first thing he said, it's never a question on where the money. No, these are the bills.
See?
I never heard of it.
I said, these are the bills. As long as these bills get taken out, as long as the money's there for these bills that are being taken, we're good. And
that's why you go with the dope chick and not the one who's twerking and naked with all the private stories. Because if worse comes to worse, you still got a person of such good character that you can still function in the best interest of the children. And that's good for young people to see. And this is why you go for the character. This is why you go for who's the best person and not who got the biggest butt or who got the most followers. Because you ain't sharing no bank account with nobody with in the OnlyFans account and all that.
That's all good until somebody get into a serious relationship or want to get married or something like that.
In a serious relationship.
No, I'm talking about like and you with somebody that you're no longer single and y'all.
Oh, you moving on, you moving on.
And that's gonna stop as soon as that happens. There's no way y'all can continue to enjoy.
But it's not because of distrust. It's not because of any beef. It's just because he's going to a new relationship, and probably the other person will have their blessing. She probably be happy for you.
This has been going on for 20 years. We've been broken up for almost 4 years.
No, I'm saying, but if you got married,
I'm talking to Jay. Jay's answer is there's no way. It is a way. If you're a mature enough person to understand that the number one concern here is to financially take care of those kids, and everybody's like, that's your business.
Who you in a serious relationship with?
Oh no, I was. No, I'm sorry. I was. I was saying I was in a serious relationship.
You were saying like past tense.
It is past tense.
Your emotions might have told something.
At the time, I was in a serious relationship. It was over 20 years. And it's been, and my thing is, if people would understand to prioritize what is the important, what are we trying to do here? What are we trying to make happen? Are we trying to make each other uncomfortable? Or are we trying to make sure that these kids are good? Because if it's we're trying to make sure these kids are good, I really don't need, unless somebody's around my children, I don't need to know your business, your personal business. And you don't need to know mine. As long as we know that this structure is working, and it has worked, but everybody goes back into their ego and emotion of, well, what's she doing out there? Well, was she in the car? Like I get the question, well, she driving your car that you're paying for? Yes, she is. What if there's a dude in it? So the fuck what? I don't care.
Yeah, you got more than one seat. Yeah, that's why I got more than one seat.
Yeah, it's not a one. My ego, if this relationship is truly over, which it is, as long as you respect me to know that this dude ain't gonna never be around my kids without me knowing, and I'm gonna do the same for you.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about who's in the car. I'm not 17.
Honestly, I was going to say one thing. Honestly, one of the most heartbreaking things was when I calculated how much money was spent just on my side in lawyers and realized I could have sent my kids to college. My heart dropped. As an educator, I was like, yo, this could have been some generational wealth if I had let it sit for between now and the next 5 to 10 years or whatever when they got out of college, or I could, because I work at the college, they probably could go for free. Just to have those kind of thoughts, I'm just like Mike said, I wish we could, because I'm on a tip like, it's not that deep. I'm only fighting at this point because somebody's fighting me. Once you get the papers, you got to get a lawyer too. once somebody unlawyered up on you. But I'm saying, I wish, like Mike said, we could just put the egos to the side and prioritize the children.
And when it comes to that generational wealth and money, I'm glad you brought it back. Because listen, man, we're going to get some serious stuff, but it's Cash App Friday. So listen.
Thank y'all for supporting Michael Sean and the Takeover Legend. I honestly just want to say thank you from Little Miguelito and from Michael Sean and the entire Takeover Legend crew. We appreciate you. Without you, this could not happen. And you've taken him through some rough and tough times. Now run them coins, bitches! Run them! Run them! Run them! Run them!
Welcome to the Holy Tabernacle, Grace New Life Community, Fellowship Church on a Hill. This is the church of anybody can get it. With your pastor, Michael Sean, and Deacon J Black.
You already know what it is, Cash App Friday, baby. You gotta pay them tithes.
Hey. What?
Some of this money will be going to pay the StreamYard monthly bill. And some of this money going in my pocket. We'll wake up every morning. Tuesday through Friday to celebrate with y'all. Pay them tithes. Pay them tithes. Pay them tithes.
Now, everyone, please take your seats.
Pay them tithes. Pay them tithes.
They still ask me about when we're going to stop that
close them doors. Ushers, close the doors.
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 Close them. Turn them off.
It's Cash App Friday. Send that money. If you got $1, that's all Cash App would accept. You can't do less than $1. I had somebody send me $2. I appreciate the $2. Close the doors.
It was like 3 comments though. 3 comments wanted to know how long you gonna keep doing the joint account though. But yeah. But shout out to Jeanette. She gave you her donation.
That joint account is gonna probably be there for until the twins get out of college, I guess. I mean, I have an account. I have multiple accounts, but that is an account. She has an account, but that's the account both paychecks go into. That account pays the bills. That account pays the 2 car notes. That account pays the car insurance. That account pays the cell phone bill that everybody is on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
All right.
So, I mean, I truly don't understand when people almost seem agitated that 2 people could actually get along to this level when that should be, the court shouldn't be involved in your relationship. Yeah. The court shouldn't be telling you what to do.
That's very true. That part.
We should be able to do it without needing that intervention, and it costs us a lot.
If I to do it without my money.
There's no way to do it without my money. We built something since I've known the girl since I was 17. We built a whole family together. So there's no way that anything's going to be done without my money and her money.
That's a good point you make it, Mike, because I think a lot of times we want to emphasize our feelings and where the relationship went, and we're not being realistic, because realistically, like you said, when you first laid down with that woman and you created life and you built a family with somebody, you have a lifelong commitment. We want to act like because we don't get along, we could just kind of compartmentalize and separate and the paperwork and the accounts. But the reality is, y'all together for life anyway. Let's be clear. You got the kids, y'all locked in together raising children.
You're bugging.
I'm just saying, hey, I'm not saying it because I'm in a Huxtable situation. I'm just saying, in the moments where I'm the most frustrated, I got to face reality and be like, bro, there's no way you're not going to have contact, and there's no way you don't have similar interest, at least converging interest in the development of the child. And if you prioritize that, the other stuff starts to fade. Like, because in my mind, I'm thinking, remember Deion Sanders when he was on the field with his kids and the mother of the kids was rolling up and he like dipped off? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I understand why he did it, but you would hope that at some point in his life, he's able to say, these children want to have a picture with both their parents. I could stand here for 12 seconds. But I know, right, everybody heals at different times. And he's prime, so he dipped off extra fast. You know, he did some Hall of Fame dipping. But eventually, I would hope he wouldn't be 80 and still dipping. You know what I'm saying? I would hope at some point we all can be like, we're in this for life, whether we like it or not. Let's prioritize the kids.
Because the fact of the matter,
Jay, I'm gonna be honest.
Allegedly, she did a lot of foul things, and I get it. But at the end of the day, if she's on the football field with your kids, the only person who's still holding resentment is the person who dipped. Everybody else has moved on with what the situation is. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong for doing it or right for doing it, but I understand what you're saying. I would just hope you like, you know, it is what it is. If it works for y'all, other opinions do not matter. Absolutely.
That's facts.
So you got
Absolutely.
something about Trump. You said moving on, you got something with Trump, right?
Let's see which one we're gonna go to. All right, let me give you the stupid dummy of the week. And our winner definitely is the worst president in the history of the country.
Oh, you made him stupid dummy of the week.
The Declaration of Independence is. And remember, this is the document in which we declared independence.
Of course, you have the Declaration of Independence. What does it mean to you? Well, it means exactly what it says. It's a declaration. It's a declaration of unity and love and respect. And it means a lot. And it's something very special to our country.
Look at Terry Moran's face. He looks like a teacher about to call the school psychologist. This is a great drawing. Stay right here. But of course he'd make that face. Trump said that the Declaration of Independence meant unity. Unity is the opposite of independence. How did Trump find the one time that unity and love is the wrong answer? What makes this even more sad is that the Declaration of Independence is basically the colonies filing for divorce. It's the one thing Trump should absolutely recognize. Donald, tell us what the Declaration of...
I mean, go ahead, Dr. Smith. Go ahead, because I'm tired. I get tired. I get tired.
No, I think that the notion of white privilege. And Obama said it recently. Obama said if I had done any of this, right, he made a point to draw a contrast between the way that he was critiqued as a president, you know, for wearing a tan suit, right? You know, one of the
that was a scandal.
It was no girlfriend, it was no baby mama. It was, you know, it was he didn't have nothing. He wasn't in the Oval Office with Monica Lewinsky 2.0. Like nothing was happening. So they said, well, look at his outfit, right? And it's ironic when a bunch of old white men are giving the black guy, you know, fashion advice. That's a whole nother story. But this notion of Trump couldn't have been Trump, not only not being white, but without being white in a nation ruled by white supremacy. It's almost like we see those professional athletes who can't read and they're 30, and you realize that the amount of people and the amount of structures and systems that had to, you know, coalesce to create this kind of academic catastrophe. You know, like so many teachers had to pass you. So many parents had to ignore it. So many coaches, so many tutors. So like a lot of people, right? So when you see somebody who's in their 70s, at the highest stage of power, who doesn't even understand the basic fundamental documents that created the nation, you know that from day one, from rich daddy giving you the loan, from you not renting to black people, to you just getting a TV show without hardly being able to read or speak, and like just all of this privilege and entitlement and everybody just passing you on, we realize that this is the final stage. We pushed this to the logical extreme. When you were spending all that money, like I said before, trying to prevent little kids from going to school, instead of making sure that in the next 30 years, everything didn't say made in China, you were sowing the seeds for where we are today. When black people were getting their feet cut off and their tongues cut out for trying to read, but now you dealing with the reverberations of students being illiterate in 4th grade, you trying to build jails to catch up to, you made this. This is all you're doing. And even in this last election, they had a chance to go with unity, to go with fairness, to vote in their own interest. And in typical white supremacist fashion, especially for white women and some of my Cuban Americans, right? I would vote for Donald Trump, right? People went and, like the last scene in a movie, they made sure that they sealed their fate. Because if America had a chance, it was that last election. Because now black people who are alive during Black Lives Matter will never trust them again. because we thought that all those black squares and all that DE&I talk and work, we thought that meant that America was changing. Now we know it's just a traditional ebb and flow, just like Reconstruction, just like civil rights. So now for the next 40 to 60 years or 80 years, all the people that were alive for this 52 fake out that America just pulled on people of color for the last 10 years is BS. So y'all gonna have to die before we start trusting anybody ever again until we gone. And we gonna let our kids know, don't be fooled even by 10 years of so-called progress, because it'll disappear with one election. So I think they sealed their fate. Ain't nobody gonna let them rule ever again on this planet.
And I'm glad you brought up the white supremacy, because white supremacy now is, we've always used the term they've been emboldened, but now they're not just following Donald Trump. There was a woman that was in a park with her, she was white, with her child, and a young child, black child, happened to be around the same age, happened to have grabbed something out of that belonged to her and the child. Well, she went off and called the young child the N-word multiple times. You N-word this, you N-word that.
Oh, yeah.
And she was being recorded. I'm not going to show you that.
No.
I'm going to show you what happened afterwards, where the white supremacists or supremacy decided that they were going to support this lady. So use your mental stamina. This is not an Instagram mentality. You have to have, this is a long clip, and I want you to watch this for me.
Donated $1,488. 1488. 14 represents the 14 words of white supremacy, and 88 represents the letter HH, which is what they used to say to Hitler when they gave him the Sieg Heil. This person only donated $15, but they said, we're coming inward, the word you think it says. This person donated $25 and said, you said what everyone else is thinking. Your bravery is inspirational. This person donated $50 and said, these animals. This one donated $10, white pride worldwide. This person donated $650 and wrote a fucking paragraph, sending my personal support. We're all fatigued and know that rather than changing their behavior, minorities insist on trying to police our words. So what is everybody donating to? This right here. This is not GoFundMe. It's on a site called GiveSendGo. And if you don't recognize her, there's a video that's going around online. Go look at Tizzy Ant's page. He blew it up, where a child took something out of her child's diaper bag at the playground, and because it was a black child, she called the child the N-word, hard ER. Another man heard her say it and recorded her, to which she said it over and over and over on video. This is what she wrote on her GiveSendGo page. I called the kid out for what he was, because the kid, who is probably 2 years older, younger, was black and made her mad, took something from her child's diaper bag. She called it out for what he was, an N-word, hard ER, which they all agreed with. Bravery, inspirational, First Amendment rights. How much has it raised? Oh, only $119,000. The year is 2025. This woman called a child, a fucking child, a racial slur, and white people around the country rallied around her, gave her over $100,000, donated using Nazi numerology, made their feelings very clear. And let's be abundantly fucking clear, the white supremacists in the White House emboldens these people. I need you to understand that this GiveSendGo represents exactly where our country is right now. We've never held white supremacy accountable. White people have been screaming that racism is a thing of the past forever. And this right here shows us exactly where we are. Like watermarks on a ship. This is where we are. And it will get worse before it gets better.
Damn. I saw this clip. I guess you ain't want to play it, but I saw this.
The child? Did you call the child the word?
Yeah, spoiler alert. While I censor it, she uses that word in this video multiple times. Rochester, Minnesota is where this happened. There's a man, we'll just say that he is not white, right? He is at the park with his children. He sees this woman start berating a little black boy, calling him the N-word, and he confronts her.
You call him a child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's you dumb.
Nobody digging through your
A little kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a the little child?
What he acts like one is gonna
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a
Huh. Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
They raised all that bread for her. Damn.
And it's a shame he said what the internet's going to do, because people are well aware that the courts and the police aren't going to do what they're supposed to do. And that's why people are relying on cameras, more than they are for courtrooms, because we realize that the court of public opinion has brought more justice to Black people historically than the actual courts ever have, and maybe ever will. That's unfortunate. The internet's protecting us more than the Supreme Court right now.
It's not shocking at all. Asha said it's not even shocking. She's used to it at this point.
And that's why, and not that I had a problem playing it, because I had the video. I don't care, because I honestly, and what you're gonna show me, it's not it. Yeah.
So they saying the guy that recorded it, he's a pedophile. That's what they accused. So they trying to back. They flipping it. Yo, what you doing at the park anyway? Recording? Did you have any kids there? Like, yo, I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. But damn, that's crazy.
What you doing at the park?
Yeah, LaShawn's like, where are the little boy's parents and guardians? That's what I was wondering too. And if they were there and they decided to engage, they would have got arrested.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I was about to say, how many times do we have to be shown what always going on before we really start doing something?
But they called it honorable. You said what I was thinking. And I'm not saying it as a definite answer. This is my worry about fuck around and find out, because we are the ones, even when they fuck around and find out, we're the ones who fuck around and find out again, even worse. And they was mad that Carmelo, they donated to Carmelo, the young Black kid that defended himself on the live, that white boy. Well, I don't know where we're going.
And I'm Sway. I ain't got the answers.
You ain't got the answers.
I ain't got the answers. Yeah, I don't even.
I don't even know where we go from there. Dr. Smith got a lecture coming up. I don't know.
Oh yeah, this Sunday we're gonna talk about the movie.
Yeah, we got it.
But I mentioned abstract whiteness in the lecture. Talking about the lead vampire, but I don't think enough people understand that this whole notion. Yeah, at the Malefe Kete Asante Institute, we'll be on YouTube too. 4 p.m. on Sunday. They watch it live on YouTube. Malefe Kete Asante Institute lectures. That's where you can watch it on YouTube. 4 p.m. on Sunday.
So you're doing a whole lecture on the movie. The movie is
whole
that
college
deep.
lecture, like slides, history.
I'm going to see it again this weekend. I'm going to see it again.
Yeah, I tell people, make sure you see it. A lot of spoiler alerts in the conversation. But yeah, if you've seen it, see it again. If you haven't seen it, make sure you see it. And then come check us out on Sunday at 5535 Germantown Avenue at 4 o'clock on Sunday in person, or just log on YouTube.
Or I can log on to this YouTube page right here.
Yeah, we'll probably put the link next week, whatever. We can always make people. Yeah, shout out to Dr. Asante. He's the first person in the world to create a PhD in African American studies at Temple University. There was no way to get a PhD or a doctorate in African American studies before that man, one of the most cited intellectuals alive, African American today, created the first PhD program in African American studies. Dr. Malefe Kete Asante. So whenever you hear Afrocentricity, they're usually talking about somebody he inspired to talk about him. But no, the Italians and the Irish and the Jewish, and Polish, they decided, or they were allowed to become white, right? So this whole notion of somebody abandoning hundreds of years of culture and history and their language and their land for the sake of being white is only because the whiteness is associated with the privilege and a hierarchy in America. No place else in the world was there white people. So it's a racial experiment that started from Europeans and built up here, right? And India had the caste system, but this is something different. People from different places abandoning their old identity for the sake of being part of the cool kids club, like an episode of Mean Girls, right? You want to sit at the cool table. There's always those movies like Can't Buy Me Love with Nick Cannon and Christina Milian, where the awkward kid gets a transformation, he becomes cool, and then sometime along the story, he turns on his eclectic theater or robotics friends, in the robotics club, and then they're like, you thought you were going to be cool, but it turns out you're not cool at all now that you're with the cool kids, and there's a whole crisis of consciousness. And then he realizes the cool kids weren't so cool and goes back to being himself, right? Everybody knows this story. It's a very old story. It's based on, but white people, when they were Italian and when they were Irish and when they were being called the N-word, like Du Bois said, being called the Black Irish, when they couldn't get access to these clubs, and then one day they were given that devil's bargain. Hey, you can come with us. Come hate Black people. Come be better than other people. Come sit at the cool kids table. Come take that Gethsemane devil's bargain. The white people should have done what some of my Jewish brothers and sisters did and said, no, I'm not white, I'm Jewish. But some people were like, we're cool over here. But for the majority of them, they said, you know what? As long as you're not going to treat me like that, I'll join the cool people and bully everybody else. So when you say you're white, you are confirming a tragic history of racial hierarchy that has perpetually disadvantaged Black people. Race as a concept was always a racial ladder. It was never just a neutral description. It was always like people above other people. There was a hierarchy. There's literally something called the racial ladder, right? So whenever you identify in terms of that ladder, you're perpetuating that hierarchy. So when you say I'm white, instead of saying I'm Italian or I'm Polish or I'm German, you're consciously or unconsciously contributing to perpetuating a hierarchy of existence that dehumanizes darker people to the planet. So once you start,
but you can say you're Black. You can say you're Black. That's what they're gonna say back to you. But you can go around and say you're Black.
You can say you're Black, but you say you're Black as a means of survival and of understanding the oppression that you're under. And a lot of people say you should abandon that as well. That's why people say you should identify as a Moor or African or Indigenous. But in terms of the power dynamic, we can call ourselves whatever we want. We're not the ones who, holding the power and oppressing the other people. Their identity is more consequential in terms of the power dynamics and the systems of power. Ours is more consequential in terms of our peace and connections with our ancestors and things like that. Ours is more of a cultural, identification. Theirs is more of a redistribution of power and a destabling and dismantling of the systems of power throughout the world. Because everywhere in the world where people who consider themselves white and people who are non-white exist in the same space, the people who are considered white occupy the superior position. And even proximity to whiteness. We're talking about Dominican Republic and Haiti, where they're talking about the Brahmins in India. Everywhere where there's this hierarchy where lighter is better, the lighter people on the planet occupy the better land and have more power on the planet. That cannot be by chance. This is by design. It's not by accident. Light skin and white people don't happen to be smarter and stronger. This is a global system of white supremacy that people act like they have no knowledge of while they work diligently to perpetuate it and maintain it every moment of every day. That's why they want to take books out the libraries and everything else in race history all the time.
LaShawn said she watched the movie, the Robert Peace movie, A Tragic Short Life of Robert Peace. Please read the book. The book is I haven't seen the movie. Please read the book. Back to your point. So anybody who's worried about spoiler alerts, and people aren't going to agree with me when I say that, don't worry about spoiler alerts because it's not going to spoil the movie.
You're right. You still enjoy it a lot.
You're going to watch. This is not a suspense movie. This is not, you don't know what's going to happen. There's so many messages in this movie, and it's just an instrument. The vampires are just an instrument to give you what society is, was, and has always been. And it's got so many angles. So when you talk about this movie, Sinners, you give me, first of all, your critique of the movie, Dr. Smith. Like, what were your thoughts when you watched it? Why you were watching it after you had consumed the entire movie? What were your thoughts about it?
I thought the film was perfect. I think maybe 2 or 3 times in my life I'd walked away with that kind of feeling, like everything was done right and that the genre had been moved forward. When they first show the twins in that scene where there's a tight shot on Stack and you don't even know that Smoke is next to him until they pan the camera, and then you see the twins and you're just mind blown, like, wait, I've seen movies that have done this before, but it didn't look like this. Then they go ahead and pass the cigarette.
Yes, I was like, how you forget that they're the same person?
It's like the first time I went to a 3D movie, bro. It's like watching Thriller and videos where forever changed. There's moments where it's like, you know what? There was before this and now there's this. And when I first saw Thriller, when they debuted it at that, you know, I think it was during Christmas or Thanksgiving, remember? I think everybody was at the house. And they kept talking about Thriller's gonna debut, Thriller's gonna debut. After we watched it, we were looking at each other like, what did we just see? And I remember during the movie, especially when they have that scene with the montage and the music, and they talk about how all the music's connected, you know, throughout generations. When I watched that, there was no reference. There was no, this is like the scene in. And if anybody tells you that they said that, then I would like to know what movie they talk about, because I need to see that movie. I was sitting in the theater in real time realizing this has never been done. I have never felt like, matter of fact, this is the blackest thing I've ever seen in a movie theater. I'm watching, you know, ancient African dances from Maasai and Zulu in a movie, like a major, not some independent film. I'm not at some, you know, showing locally with the director's cut. I'm at a film with one of the most, arguably the most popular Black actor and director, and they're talking about this, not when they get, not later in their career when they get conscious and they're not popular. This is at the height of both of their popularities and prominence. This is with a major studio, like, and I'm sitting here looking at stuff that I only see in books and in journals. So the average YNs is gonna peep this. This is major, and I thought it was just the acting, the casting. I even appreciated the way that the movie moved, because in a time where there's so much instant gratification and scrolling, and like you said, the TikTok attention spans, right? I like the fact that it moved a little more like a book than it did like a YouTube video. And they didn't try to keep up with the pace. They made sure that they set the pace, and they ran their house. And they said, no, you're going to have some character development. We're going to get to all of the hype and stuff. We're going to get to some of the suspenseful moments, but you're going to make sure you understand that this story is much deeper and much longer than just this little hour and a half, or what's going to happen, you know, tonight at the juke joint. So I love the fact that the first half of the film is really just telling people stories and giving you an understanding of where you are and what's at stake and people's relationships, and having all this historical consciousness in terms of, yes, Chinese people was there. No, it might not have been Latinos and white people, black people, but the Chinese people were dealing with both communities. So even this whole notion of where they exist today could be better understood by recognizing it was a polarization. It was white and it was black, and then people had to figure it out when they got here. And one of the advantages to not being on either side was the ability to go between both sides. And when you see the stores on both sides of the street, literally, right? And even the fact that there's little things like when the daughter went across the street and talked to the mom, she almost talked in a different vernacular. And if you listen to the background vocals, some of the like the subtext, where you hear the voices but you don't see the actors. Somebody said something effective. I don't have anything against the coloreds or something like that, you know. So you hear them, you hear the obsession with black people even back then, where the black people are talking about life, but the white people are talking about black people. And you got these Asians who are understanding both of these communities, and just, well, you only saw the movie once, so I won't go into the deep parts with the shots. But when people saw the movie more than once, you might even remember this. Do you remember the scene where they're playing the different music and they follow the Asian actress who plays Grace?
Yes.
Now, if you watch it again, you're going to notice that there's another steady shot in the film, early in the film, when Grace's daughter is sent by Bo, her husband, to go get her. I didn't even peep it the first time because I didn't expect it. It's foreshadowing. I'm saying the same way they follow Grace, where she's dancing behind her, the same exact type of steady shot is there for Diane. When they're following the daughter, they follow the Asian daughter, same type shot. And it's a steady shot. They walk her all the way across the street. She talks to her mom. Then they show Grace walking from the front across the street. I said, wow, they did the same shot with the daughter that they later do with the mom when she's walking through these different worlds. And then they show the mom walking through these different musical worlds. It's like little things like that you catch when you watch it a second time. But there's so much of that in the film that it's just a film that prioritizes the blues in 2025. You know how difficult it is to make something suspenseful and a hit, and people go see it multiple times when you're dealing with a time period which is seldom talked about. There's a lot of slave movies. There's a lot of 1960s stuff. They don't talk about that Reconstruction, antebellum, 1930s and 40s and 1920s. That's not what we hear a lot about. We might have what, like, not even Harlem Nights. Well, yeah, I mean, Harlem Nights and Life. Those are two movies I know, like from the convict leasing and the early mob days. But most of the movies, especially those big blockbusters and all that, They don't even take place during that time, let alone in places like Mississippi and all that. Like he took, like, it's like playing the game on the hardest level, right? Where you pick all the expert levels and you still crush the game. And I think that's what he did.
Interesting point that Delroy,
no white savior, by the way, too. Let me add that.
Oh,
So
no,
Black Panther had the CIA agent, driving the ship and saving everybody at one point. He didn't even use that trope.
There were 2 points. One thing that I liked about the movie is that there's a point where you realize one person is the vampire, is going to live forever. One chooses to transition. When you watch the transition and you watch the vampire, nowhere in the movie does it say which one was right or wrong. That's up to you.
Yeah.
That's up to you to decide which one you would have chosen in it. And I like the fact that nobody tried to make one who didn't do it by choice, but his relationship with the woman brought him into that. But he didn't look unhappy afterwards. But they did miss things. They explained what they missed at the end. But Delroy Lindo, Delta Slim. So he, in an interview, said the scene where they sing in the car, where he says, well, you got that guitar. Delroy made, and this is so interesting, that scene was cut out.
Yeah, they wasn't going to put it in.
And he went to the director and said, not out of ego, I gave him the points on why we needed that scene, and he put it back in. Because Delroy was like trying to explain why it was necessary. And instead of a director saying, I know my vision, the director went and actually listened.
Yeah, to OG too, though.
To OG. And the interesting part was the young man in the car, Delroy said, this is no fault of his own. A lot of that we ad-libbed. And he didn't know where we were going, but to his credit, he went with us. So when me and Michael B. Jordan we went, and we started ad-libbing stuff, that to me is, when I say the poison of saying you want to take away critical thinking and they don't want people to have critical thought, is because they don't want us to be able to watch something like this and be able to detect these things. And then when we find more information, why I always say Kendrick Lamar is my favorite rapper, because he forces me to actually listen to something again. And maybe I got caught up in my hip hop mind and not into what he was trying to say. This movie makes me I can't wait to go watch it again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not watching it with the hyped up mind of this is going to be incredible. Now I'm watching it as let me chill and let me take my notebook and let me see what I didn't see the first time.
Well, one of the things that do, like I said, the foreshadowing, that's one of the best parts. When you know how the story ends, all of the dialogue sounds different. A lot of the scenes hit totally different. I'm gonna give you just two. I'll give you two. I already gave you one with the cinematic there, but I'll give you two in terms of dialogue. Sammy is at the church. He has the conversation with his father. Father has the guitar there at the pulpit. They have the conversation about, where it's better to spend your time in the house of the Lord. What you gonna do? Entertain these drunkards who are spending their time shirking responsibilities, sweating on each other. Whatever he said, right? Boom. You hear the horn beat, right? And then Smoke and Stack are outside in the car. Next time you see it, it's gonna hit different when Stack says to Pastor Jebediah, he says, "Don't worry, we'll make sure he gets back in one piece." And I was like, wow. And honestly, they did, because the sacrifices they made as brothers and the actions they took, especially when they're doing the Lord's Prayer in the water, right? They literally made sure that he got back in one piece. Another good one is right after that, when they're in the car and he's like, you want to drive? He says, of course I want to drive. And what does Stack say? On the way back.
On the way back, yeah.
How does the movie start? He's driving the car back.
On the way back.
Like just little things like that where it's like, yo, you got that. Like didn't even, but how can I? I'm watching the movie first time, just enjoying the story. But that's why, like you said, it's important to watch a second time. The second time you sit back like, oh shoot. Oh wow. Even the whole Wizard of Oz style of meeting the characters. When you think about the Wizard of Oz and you watch the movie again, like the way they approached the Scarecrow, the way they found the Tin Man, The way they approach Delta Slim at the train station, like there's little things you're like, oh wow, they're building up the characters. They're gathering and they're going along this dirt or yellow brick road, right? Like there's certain ways you can look at it where it's like that made me look at the movie different when I said, okay, now it's the Delta Slim scene. They're meeting him, they're recruiting him. Now he's joining the journey. The same way they were off to see the wizard and they would skip 2 and they were 3 and then 4. Like you see it, they see him in the car, and then when everybody's assembled, what do they show? They show one car going, they show the other car going, and then that's like the end of that movie. Because then the next scene is the flaming back and the warning from the indigenous people. But the end of that character development Wizard of Oz segment
right
of the
there.
film,
It's right. Yeah, they gathered the crew up. Yes,
they're off to the yellow brick road, and you can almost see the Emerald City, but you see cotton fields and like that. That even those wide shots, that Gone with the Wind style, wide shots with this new technology, is almost a reclamation. Because usually when we would see these things, we wouldn't think beauty, we would think pain, we wouldn't think centering blackness, we would think white domination. And I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. And there's different films and images that we would have. And now these younger people have different memories. So when they see these cotton fields, I think one of the best scenes for me was Delta Slim riding past the chain gang saying, "Hold your head."
Hold your
and I was like, yo, I thought about Tupac, keep your head up. And I was like, this is and Jay-Z's line, all the hustlers, they love it just to see one of us make it, right? Because when they saw him, they got energized. And what did Overseer do? Shoot over their head and try to instill fear again and stop them from being proud. That Shador Sanders type of buck breaking. You can't be that uppity. You can't be that confident. You saw what we did to Kanye. You could be next.
And you know what? And the first time,
I should say Colin for football.
Colin Kaepernick, yeah.
Colin.
When the Irish dude tries to enter the party, the Jew joint, they have to be welcomed in order for them to go in. They have to get the welcome.
I love that they explain that too. I love they're like,
they have to be welcomed. They have to be come on in. The irony is that when they're singing, one of the actors says, "Well, they can't sing. Why can't you just?" And it's almost like, but we
know
they
but you still want to let.
But they can, and then it's Smoke who says, "Nah," like he's the one who goes, "Nah, we not gonna have," because we know what that's gonna lead to. They look at somebody wrong and and I'm paraphrasing. But I thought that was interesting because that still is something that's the actual thing that we get. That's so right. A white comedian can be like, yeah, but he's funny.
That negotiation with what we know is wrong.
We know he's edgy and we know he's saying, you know, so it's always that battle on, well, who do you let in? Who, or do you? And there's really not an answer to it because once again, Smoke was in love with old girl, even though she was mixed. I don't want to offend nobody by saying that.
You're talking about Stack. Stack was in love with Mary.
Stack was in love with Mary.
Yep.
Stack. Yep. So he was in love and she came for him. And even my daughter made a comment that I thought was hilarious. She was like, yeah, I love Mary because that was her man and she was going to take her man. I was like, well, miss me with that one because because she took his chance of making a decision whether he wanted to do the transition.
Well, no. If you remember the scene with the drool, when she was straddling him, she says to him, "Do you want some?" But it wasn't. I'm saying there's always that moment, though.
Yeah, it's always that moment.
I thought the same thing. I was like, "Yo, why this? Why?" And then I started looking. Even the scene with Cornbread, when they said you big, you could just walk in, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you're gonna be thinking, well, a lot of people were thinking when they watch the movie again, it's like, yo. Like you want to be on your Marvin Sapp, close the door. When you're watching the dialogue and you know the story, you're sitting there, like you said, why? You don't have to entertain this. And watching the way that people entertain sin and negotiate with sin and demonic forces, whether it's you personally or in a group with your family, your friends, the peer pressure, you just watching it like the old school black thing of yelling at the screen. You like, all you need to do is close the door. They can't come in. Like you said, you gotta let them in.
You gotta let them in.
You'll be good. And watching this take place with Cornbread, when they didn't let him in, he was about to walk away, and then he stopped and said, "At least can I get paid?" Right, to paraphrase, right? And he put his hand by his side and did like that, right? So there's always this, even a subtle invitation. So even when Stack went to give the money, it's like everybody's like, no, but that's the way it works. Even though she was there and he was lusting, she still says he wants. And he said he confirms, right? Like, you gotta agree with it. And I thought it was beautiful when the indigenous people gave that initial warning. Remember when they saw the Klan paraphernalia in the house?
Yeah.
And you hear the vampire go straight to that Trump conversation. And he starts to talk about dirty engines, right? He tries to appeal to their xenophobia and racism, to put their guard down and vote against their interests, to harm themselves, right? But the way that the indigenous people responded, since they had obviously been dealing with this for so long, and they were just like, basically, God be with you. The other brother's like, sun coming up. He was like, God be with you, basically. And they was out of there. We not going back and forth with you white folks prioritizing race over life. That's what type time you on? I told you about them. You gonna let them in anyway? You want to coalesce around whiteness instead of around safety? Lose your farms, lose your jobs, enjoy your tariffs, and you might get deported. So there's even watching it from a political lens, there's so much there in terms of the current political moment that you can literally watch the movie with different, lenses and get something out of every time. Historical, cinematic, with other movies, even other horror movies and vampire movies. Because if you notice when they did the big horns and the organs for some of the scenes, like in one of the scenes you see Merrick and then they have the moon, like a real old school Dracula film, and it
Yeah.
like even those kind of things, like a Rocky Horror type of energy, right? With the music, like the whole musical element is like a whole different layer and lens of the film, where people were talking about Pick That Robin Clean. Pick That Robin Clean usually referred to like somebody being taken for everything they had. So there's always that physical metaphor, of course. We're talking about vampires that pick on the corpse and feast on human bodies. So that's an obvious layer. But the other layer is in terms of the meaning of the song, it basically meant like somebody ran you, like you're out of house and home and, rabbit ears, right? They're going to get you for everything you have. Then there's that cultural appropriation layer when it comes to the music and invite people to the cookout via the party. Like there's so many ways you could watch this same set of maybe 50 scenes that each time you see it, you're just like, oh, wow. And even like you said, Mike, nobody's perfect in the movie. They advertise that we're all sinners on the posters. When you look at the movie from the lens of Merrick, that lead vampire being a potential anti-hero, it flips everything. Because he talked about colonization of his people.
Yep, he did.
And they were
he did.
the time he's referring to for the Irish was like about 900 years ago. That's why when he brought them gold coins, he said it's from a different time, different place. Right?
Different time.
Right?
Where you get these from?
The notion of him knowing, he's saying to these black people who are new to this game, I know these white people because they colonized their own people first. They were warring in Europe, the Vandals and the Visigoths, before they ever got to thinking about going to Africa. I know how they rock, especially these British so-called, what do you call them? The people who think the real white people, right? The white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, right? So Merrick is like, yo, we've been the N-words for a long time. I'm telling you, you need to come with us. You're never going to get that freedom. And then there's an interesting scene with Stack and Smoke where the brothers are conversing and they say, we spent all this time paraphrasing. We spent all this time fighting for freedom we wasn't never going to see. And if you look at that scene and compare it to the Killmonger scene where he talks about the river and his ancestors and all that, when he really just encapsulizes African-American anger and disconnection with ancestors, it's an interesting thing when it's the same actor. Talking that dialogue, and then that scene of him confirming what Merrick was warning about. Merrick was saying, you ain't never gonna be free. And then for him to have gone and fought the mob and mobbed and shot and killed and worked and stabbed and broke hearts of women that were good for him, but he had to because of the racial climate and the aspiration, all of that only to be like Jonathan Majors. Here we are. Did everything right like Obama. Here we are in a tan suit. Right? So those two scenes, even together, when you think about the Killmonger scene and you hear that dialogue, it's really powerful. The fact that Merrick was right. And of course, the dialogue is putting that in there for a reason. For Merrick to say, you ain't never going to be free, and then 20, 30 minutes later, the brother saying, we wasn't never going to be free. So it's like, wait a minute. Like you said, the one brother who got converted seemed happy. So you got happiness, quote unquote, unity, community, and eternal life. Not to be blasphemous, right? On the other end, what you got? Because this is the thing that people don't understand. A lot of people talk about grace, right? This grace debate. Grace invited them in. Grace was like, come on in, you MFers. And one thing that's interesting is that if you look closely, when her mouth is covered, she bites the hand that literally is feeding her and paying her. Yeah. So she's literally biting the hand that feeds her and inviting the demons in, right?
Yep.
People kept saying I'm not on Grace's side. I'm just gonna let you know where I stand. I was like, that. Even the second time I watched it, I was like, no, right? Like I knew she was gonna do it, and it still hit me hard. But people were saying, y'all not thinking Grace was a mother. Her kid is back there. They already said they share memories. It would have been nothing to go and get her daughter, especially using the father. She wouldn't let her father in. They would have went and ravaged the whole town. People are like, yo, you acting like it wasn't already on and up and all that. And some people are like, well, it was going to be sunlight in a matter of minutes anyway, blah, blah, blah. So that debate is raging whether Grace was just a protective mom, whether Grace knew that it was, over anyway. They might as well take a stand and go down fighting, whether the sun was going to come up, whether they were going to kill the whole town regardless. And they, luckily they were able to at least, kill the demons because they fought. That's one argument. The argument I haven't heard yet, I'll talk about this on Sunday, but I'll break it here. The scene that follows in terms of the juke joint, even when the sun is up, even when the vampires are gone, the Klan is still on the ride. Because you see all these cars pull up armed, and if you listen to the subtext, you hear the word uppity, and then somebody says, I'm going to skin me an N-word. And for people that don't know, there were people that used the skin of African Americans as a form of leather to make shoes and boots. And there's an article from Philadelphia that talks about a famous doctor where he brags about using these black people's skin to make, leather products. So this whole notion of us debating about the vampires and whether the sun is up or the sun is down, when we're black people and 24/7, 365, we're still dealing with these vampires and monsters and evil demons of racism. The Klan was coming the next day to kill them all, even if they kept the door shut. So if they had kept the door shut the whole movie till sun came up, all they would have been met with was a bunch of Klan members armed, ready to take them all out and take their property back the way they stole property.
Be free anyway.
That's the subtext. That's the tragic subtext. It's like, yo, no matter what we do, we can
no
fight.
matter what. Anna said, I love the different kinds of currency, what was acceptable and how it was valued by
wood nickels and all that.
How it was acquired. Absolutely.
It was good. Legs said she's gonna go see it. Well, she's gonna bring some friends with her, so that's dope.
Poor Legs. Legs had a comment earlier. She went to Asha's church back in a few years ago. I don't know when it was, and she said she was the only white. She brought her kids. She went to a funeral, and then she went to a service. She was the only white person there, and she left. And Asha said they were mad that she left, and so she's going back. So I was like, that has nothing to do with anything. Legs, go back.
That'd
be white guilt. Is that white guilt? No, I'm
saying every black person I know has been the only black person like a
that's right. We've been there, done that. Like, what
when somebody says I'm the only, I'm like, we're always the only. Like, I don't know a black person who hasn't been the only.
I love the fact that she said it, because this is why I'm telling you, this is the place where you can say these things. This is the place. The other thing, and then
open the door.
We gotta get out of here. Once again, we have Dr. Aaron Smith. He's going to be, is it this Sunday?
This Sunday, May 4th at 4 p.m. will be on YouTube at Molefe Kete Asante Institute Lectures. You can watch it there, and it'll be up after that if I bring the link. And also be at 5535 Germantown Avenue, 4 p.m. this Sunday, 5535 Germantown Avenue, right down the block from Uncle Bobby's, Mark Lamont Hill's coffee shop and bookstore. And on the other side is Mosque number 12, the famous Mosque number 12 that Malcolm X had so much contact with, that used to be on Broad Street, is now on Germantown Avenue. So we're right in between that great renaissance of all these new black businesses and institutions. Germantown Avenue is really reviving powerfully in the last few years, and it's a beautiful location.
Try and make it out there, y'all. I'm gonna do my darndest. I'm putting that as something that I need to do at 4:00 on Sunday. Please support that. At the end, when the blues singer basically has asked, we can give you eternal life, and he says, paraphrasing,
I've seen enough of this place. Yeah,
I've seen enough of this place. I always wonder, and I don't want to offend anybody. Please don't be offended. Anybody who's lost somebody, because I've lost people. Anybody who's lost somebody. I always thought, when I see the transition scene there, are we confused that when we lose somebody too young, that it's actually a blessing for them not to have to deal with the pain of what this life really brings? That's just a thought that I always have. When we say they didn't even get to live this life, and I think about how harsh this life really is. And nobody leaves on here unscathed. Everybody has to go through some tremendous pain in this lifetime. I love living. And if I lost a child and I lost somebody young, the people that I lost, were in their 30s, and I thought that was old back in the day. And now I realize I'm 54 years old, how young the people that I love, that I cherished, passed away so young. But I always think in my mind, when he said that scene, I'm tired. And I understand he's older. So people are going to say he lived his life. But I think about how much pain you have to go through, and almost in my mind gave me a relief. Well, maybe that is the blessing of leaving here early. Maybe in my mind, and I'm not looking for agreement from anybody, maybe not having to do this suffering that has to go on. Maybe they're the lucky ones. I don't know. But that was it. That just, and I love the fact that the movie, when you watch this movie, it makes you think about things that maybe weren't even in the movie. It just, it makes you start self-reflecting and makes you start wondering about your choice. Like you said, the justification of sins.
Yeah. What demons we entertaining?
Exactly. The demons that you're welcoming. The welcome mat, everybody, people, and I love TikTok. I love everybody taking their welcome mats off and everybody, but you can welcome by welcoming. That was just a symbolism. And I love the fact that you had to say, come on in.
Come on.
It gave you back the power. It's almost like empowering you to go like, wait a minute. I have the power to choose this, to let this come inside of me, to take part in this. And there was so many different things. And I'm happy when I watched it, because I think some people were disappointed because they wanted a movie of movie standards of, there's a hero, like you said, there's a victor, there's a bad versus good. All that is in there. But I love the fact that the victory is on how you looked at it.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at it as not letting them in our, for us, by us. We don't need them. And
I like that he said that in the movie too. He's like, for us, by us. I said, he doesn't put FUBU in this movie. You know how black he gonna get. He got some FUBU in that stuff. But it's also, it's a powerful lesson in the positive aspects of spirituality, because a lot of people understand violence. They understand the carnal and the physical. They understand evil, right? A lot of people have an understanding of these things, but not so much the positive elements of spirituality. So when, like you said, Mike, when somebody says you let this stuff in, they might not be able to understand somebody saying, you know, well, let Jesus into your heart. And they're like, what are you even talking about? What does that mean? It makes no sense. But then when you talk about having evil spirits and evil influences and negativity, they say, oh, yeah, I know how that gets in me. I know how it changes me right away. I know how certain music can set my. So they say, yeah, that's how it works. So when somebody tells you, yeah, I let Jesus into my heart and he changed my life, now at least whether you agree with it or not, you can understand it because you've done it with evil. So you can at least understand how it can happen with good. Because a lot of times people get confused when it comes to positive spiritual experiences. And they're just like, you're the same person. It's like, no, the same way you were changed in a negative way, people can be changed in a positive way. But it's also that potential that, you know, the same way you can be changed to the negative right away, people can make decisions. Like, you know, people say, oh, you can change right now. You can make a decision and change, open your heart and let them in. And yeah, it's really like that.
And it is really, and I keep saying I love this, I love that. But I say I hate enough stuff. Why can't I say I love a bunch of stuff on the same level? When you say the spirituality, and this story may not make any sense to people, and I'm gonna make it quick because I gotta get out of here. We all gotta get out of here. Dr. Aaron Smith will be here every Friday. This Sunday, one more time, given this Sunday, where you're gonna be at
5535 Germantown Avenue, 4 p.m. 5535 Germantown Avenue, 4 p.m. this Sunday. Malepe Kete Asante or the MKA Institute, and also be on YouTube. Malepe Kete Asante Institute lectures. So, and I'll be on with Envy. Envy said she wants to get you on soon too. I
yes,
to be on
tonight.
But yeah,
tonight.
You gonna be on there too? Okay,
yes,
so the Envy McKee Show, WURD.
Yes.
The Envy McKee Show, WURD.
Yes.
Catch me and Mike on there tonight too.
Nice.
First of all, the church met its goal. Thank you. There really is no goal, but the fact that you guys reached out and the way you guys actually support and understand that we do have the StreamYard price is going to go up to actually do the show to close to $100 because I'm going to do so. Tithe in, Cam, shout out to you, Diane. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Miss Honeycomb. Thank you. That's my boo, Asha. DJ Super. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you so much. Everybody, Afro Queen. Thank you, Miss Clark. Thank you, Ashley Newman. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Lisa Legs. Thank you, LaShawn. Thank you, Kamari. Thank you, and for when he put it out there. Real quick story. So when the addiction got to where it got to the darkest part, and there's always another darkness. I can go darker if I go back. It will get darker and it will get darker faster. In Dallas, when I left and I came back, I went back to Dallas. I had certain things that I still have from Dallas. at my lowest point, everything from having seizures, from withdrawal, from being rushed to hospitals, from IVs and having a nervous breakdown that I know I had in the hospital. So all that. The June 25th, and there was another situation. There were a few situations where I had my talk. I didn't pray. I just talked out loud to God, and that was my prayer. And we went back and forth. One of the things that I owned was a necklace that had an NY, diamond studded NY. And it was shipped to me. And when it was shipped to me, when the mail came in, the bubble wrap was open and it had been taken. And the mailman literally delivered like that. So that had been taken. All the money in Dallas had been gone. Other things that somehow or another, there was always a way that something that was a symbol of that time in my life had been taken. I was driving home from work, working overtime. And when I'm driving home and on a busy road, a deer walks out, runs out, hits my car, nobody else's. We're going like this.
Like, get out.
Bam, hits my car. The first thought was, I'm doing everything right. Like I'm doing everything. Like I'm God. I'm doing everything. Like I'm praying. I'm the like I can't afford cars totaled. Cars totaled. So this deer pops out. The BMW was the last thing I had that represented Dallas. The last thing from that period of my life. That was the last thing. The last thing. From that moment, I did not know I had Gap insurance. I didn't know. I thought I was getting $1,500 from the car. I got the money. It was triple what I thought. That money was given to me from the insurance company. That last portion, and I believe this in my heart, God took that last thing. From that moment, I haven't had one financial struggle from that moment. From that moment, everything has been paid. Nothing financially has been a struggle. I'm not rich, far from it. But what I'm saying is every bill is paid, everything has been taken care of, and I'm good. That last thing, I feel God said, we got to take this last thing from there. Because the deer just don't pop out and then they go and the deer's not there. The cops said, no, the deer's not there. We sent some, and just this is just me. So with the spirituality, I'm like, that was the last bond. That's
real.
From everything. So
stay in the Gap.
Stay out of Dallas too. Don't go back.
In the Gap.
And it was just, I got a show in Dallas, which is irony. But for me, that was the symbolism is I'm going to take that last part of that darkness, and we're going to take it from here.
Get rid of it. Fresh start. Get rid
Don't
of it.
walk away.
Cleanse.
But if you got all your possessions,
everything.
You could give them all the praise. Somebody been in the Gap. If you can stand in the Gap.
Absolutely. Hey, don't
Welcome to the Holy Tabernacle, Grace New Life Community, Fellowship Church on a Hill. This is the church of anybody can get it. With your pastor, Michael Sean, and Deacon Jay Black.
He took it all. Dr. Aerosmith, he took it.
He got it. He got all your possessions. That was the Gap, the GAP. He got all your possessions. Now you can give him all the praise.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for paying their time. I want to thank everybody for supporting this little show. That would be a major show.
Okay.
I would like to thank y'all.
That was the devil.
We get through every dark moment. Y'all have no idea.
There's too much praise going on.
Everyone, please take your seats.
Thank every single person who supports this show. We are just getting started. I promise you, we are just getting started. I know in my heart where this show is about to go.
Oh, yeah.
And I know everybody. I will have every name that's been with us through everything. And at some point, we're going to repay you for all the work that you've done for us and all the support that you've given us. For everybody, for people like Shelly, who's lost their mom, who still comes on this show and watches. For everybody, for Nikki, for going through car accidents and going through everything she's going through. For every single person, I don't want to miss anybody who's going through something. For Don Page sharing his trials and tribulations in his relationship and still thriving. For every single person who's helped us. Love me for who I am, not who you want me to be, because I can never be that. Understand there's only one thing that's guaranteed. It will end. So enjoy every minute, every second. You fight for everything in this life. Fight for your happiness. Never let anyone, any circumstance take it from you. God got you. From Michael Sean, Jay Black, Dr. Aaron Smith, Sexy Mo, C. Chung, Amani, Lady Q. You want them t-shirts? WokeUpInspired.com. Shipping $29. Free ship $29. If you want that, you want to customize, DM them. We are gone. Gone.
Michael Sean and the Takeover Legends, where the truth hurts.